Well, good evening and welcome to the Board of Education meeting for Greeley-Evans School District 6. This is the 8th day of November 2021. This meeting will now come to order. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Lemon, will you call the roll for us, please?
Director Hafley.
Present.
Director Mash. Present. Director Mathews.
Present.
Director Mueller. Present. Director Pappas.
Present.
Director Solis. Present. Director Talley.
Present.
All members present.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. Well, I'll just start the meeting. I want to draw some attention to some things that are on our consent agenda. And I'll tell you, I have a love-hate relationship with our consent agenda. It's what allows our meetings to get done in a timely fashion, but it also is sometimes things that we want to highlight don't get highlighted because they're things that we agree on that don't require a vote or discussion from any of us. And so I just want to highlight a few of those things for you tonight. And one of those first things is what's on our personnel. And we're hiring 3 bus drivers tonight, and we're hiring 12 substitutes tonight. And that might not mean a lot to some of you, but I see some principals and some teachers who are clapping and nodding, and that is big news for our district. And just I want to keep putting that word out there. You see our transportation at pretty much every community event that there is to go to, they go to that event. And they are recruiting bus drivers, and we desperately need people who are willing to drive buses and substitutes. We absolutely need people to sub in this district, and with the different things our economy is experiencing, we like just every other employer are looking for people to serve, especially in those two areas. And I want to highlight that tonight. Second thing I want to highlight is a contract with RLH. RLH Engineering was selected to be our district's owner's rep, and we're making an addendum to that tonight. And so if you followed a bond issue that we passed in 2019, there were 5 schools that were major works in that bond issue. And so the first that hopefully everybody is familiar with, and that's Greeley-West, is being completely rebuilt. Also, we're making huge additions to Crystal McAuliffe and making a big addition to Chapello, completely redoing Madison, and then we're building a new school that is the first new school that's been built in this district that's not a replacement school in 20 years, and that's the Twainton Academy of Pre-Engineering. And those 5 were the big things that we were having to. Then every school was going to get something: new vestibules, new entryways, new carpet, new paint, things that needed to be done that hadn't been done in a long time. But the reason that we're updating this is we're updating this so that it includes Billy Martinez, Meeker, Heath, and Franklin, as well as the construction of a District 6 CTE center. CTE is Career and Technical Education. And so those are 5 big projects, if I'm counting that right. Billy Martinez, Meeker, Heath, Franklin, and the CTE Center. 5 big projects that we did not plan on that bond, but favorable bond pricing and great management by our administration has made it possible that we're doing 5 other big additions onto schools in this district. And I think Dr. Pilch maybe will tell us a little bit more about that CTE Center when it's her turn to speak. And then the last thing I want to highlight tonight is that on that consent agenda is the superintendent's evaluation. And again, that's something our board spends a fair amount of time creating. And I won't read that entire document to you. It is available to you should you want to read it. But I'm just going to read the very first part of it so that everyone understands the assessment of this board. And it is the unified assessment of this board that Dr. Pilch continues to provide exceptional leadership in the execution of this mission of District 6, and has carried out her job responsibilities with resilience, passion, and dedication during the difficult environment COVID presented in the 2021 school year. And then it concludes this way: the Board of Education would like to thank Dr. Pilch for making District 6 more successful each year through her unmatched leadership. Our student, staff, administration, and communities have thrived with her at the helm. We recognize that she is a special leader, and our sincerest hope is that the communities of Evans and Greeley will join us in this recognition. And so we do want to highlight that evaluation and the positive evaluation that we've given the superintendent, and want our communities of Greeley and Evans to join us in that recognition, because we have a fantastic superintendent. The last thing I would just say is tonight is a night of it's mourning and celebration, and we're mourning because three of us will be leaving this dais. We'll be leaving the Board of Education, and that's sad for those of us who've served with them for a long time and know the contributions that they've made to this district. And it's a celebration, though. We have three new people joining us, and that is always exciting. And so it's my sincerest hope for you guys that this is a positive meeting and a chance to celebrate all that has been accomplished and the work that you've done, and all that you intend to accomplish, and all that you've accomplished in your campaigns and getting to this point. So with that, we are to our public participation regarding agenda items, and I'll read just something that I read every board meeting, and it's: the board welcomes the comments of our community members and has dedicated this portion of the agenda to provide an opportunity for the community to present brief comments and pose questions to the board related to items that are listed on tonight's agenda. Written testimony or speaker handouts must be submitted to the board secretary, not to individual board members. The board typically does not engage in discussion or provide an immediate response to the input, but will ask district staff to respond as appropriate. The board is committed to providing a safe environment where all members of the school community are treated with dignity and respect, and expects all speakers to exercise their speech rights responsibly. Speakers will be heard in the order in which they signed up to speak, and comments are limited to 2 minutes. And our first speaker tonight is Ms. Andy Lee, member of District 6 staff, here to welcome members of the Board of Education and First Impressions. So Ms. Andy Lee, you will have precisely two minutes. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. I have a tendency not to speak very loudly, so am I good? Okay. My name is Andy Lee, and as president of the Greeley Education Association, I represent all certified educators in District 6 on contractual matters, as well as over 700 members of the association. Although I am not a regular Facebook follower, I spent part of my weekend handling that comment made on Taylor Sullivan's Facebook page. We want to thank Sherry for taking responsibility, although I'm personally surprised that as a former Tribune education reporter, she would make a comment that demonstrates such a lack of understanding on how the public system works. Our educators understand that our working conditions are governed by the master contract, not individual board members. Our educators understand that our curricula is selected based on a tiered process that scrutinizes how closely it aligns with the Colorado state standards. Our educators also understand that the District 6 board operates differently than the Frontier Board of Directors, which is where Taylor's recent experience has been because of her stepchildren attending school. For that reason, we are giving Taylor some leeway. We've learned to give each other grace during this past year and a half while operating under pandemic restrictions. We want to welcome all of our elected board members to our district. We look forward to continuing to build on the relationship that has created successful outcomes. We have spent the last 6 years working together to restore the relationships that are essential to that success. And on that note, I want to personally thank the 3 that are leaving, because you were a part of that success. On another personal note, my worst fear is that I will end my career in District 6 in the same battles we faced over a decade ago. However, my best hope is that our district is to make this our best year ever in spite of the pandemic difficulties. We look forward to continuing the relationship.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Our next speaker is Mr. Josh Wainscott, resident of District 6, parent of students.
I'm sorry.
Enrolled in District 6 and a member of the District 6 staff. He's here to speak on outgoing and incoming board members. Mr. Wainscott.
Thank you very much for having me.
You have 2 minutes, sorry.
Oh, no, that's all right. Thank you very much for having me this evening, board members. I wanted to start off by saying, Mr. Hafley, Your dedication and support to District 6 has been unparalleled. One of my greatest memories of you is when you and Dr. Richards were able to share a hug.
Mr. Wainscott,
Yes.
will you speak a little bit more
Is that
directly
better?
into the microphone?
Is that
Yeah, it
better?
just doesn't
Okay.
catch.
No,
Thank
not
you.
a problem. When you were able to share a hug during a negotiations time when we were finally able to make people whole. I know how much that meant to you and the rest of our staff. Ms. Solis, I appreciate that you have always been there to speak about people of color, especially since that is a huge majority of our district. Thank you for that. I know we haven't always seen eye to eye, but your respect for this position has been amazing. Mr. Talley, I really appreciate the fact that you have been here and you have become not only a person that understands the board, but a person that understands the employees. Your service, your camaraderie, and the quality conversations are things that I truly enjoy. For our new board members and current board members, I would ask that you revise or revisit some of our board policies. In particular, BBBA, the board does not wish to subordinate the education of children and youth to any partisan principles, group interests, or personal ambitions. Also, please familiarize yourself with board policies BC over member conduct, BCAE1, Code of Ethics, and BCEA2, Code of Ethics as well. Remember that you are now a public servant. Please ask us how you can best serve our students, our families, and the staff of Greeley-Evans. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wainscott. The next speaker is Ms. Jackie Kinsley, resident of District 6, welcoming new board members. Welcome, Ms. Kinsley, and you will have 2 minutes.
Well, I am not president of D6. I'm just a member of the community. And welcome Taylor, Kyle, and Rob. And what a breath of fresh air, and thank you for running. And we want you to know that you will be supported and with your decisions that you're making. We believe that you will bring back due process by not excluding the people's voice. And I, as many as other people, will offer you our areas of expertise if needed. And don't be afraid to ask for help. And this is not an easy job, but then again, the most gratifying, fulfilling jobs aren't. And I understand you teachers very well. I understand educators. I'm an educator myself in nursing. It is not an easy job. And I want you to know, as educators, we will cooperate with you. Even if we disagree with you, we will still respect you. And once again, thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Kinsley. The next item on our agenda is our work session report. And so, Ms. Lemon, will you read our work session report for us, or our latest work session report, please?
There was no work session tonight due to the outgoing board member reception.
Superintendent report.
All right. No work session report tonight. Great. We're now to our superintendent's report. And so, Dr. Pilch, will you give us your report, please?
Thank you, President Mathews. I'll just remind the audience that we did not hold a work session night as we went into executive session to complete my evaluation, and then we went into recess to do the reception for the outgoing school board members. So I'll just start first with, you had mentioned the Career and Technical Education Center, and this has been a vision of District 6 since the early conversations around career pathways. To be able to offer more in terms of career and technical education. We have a tremendous partnership with Ames Community College and send hundreds of students to Ames to receive career and technical education. However, there are still wait lists, and some of those areas that there are wait lists are the areas in which we will focus on at this new Career and Technical Education Center. So I want to be honest here, this is not fully funded yet. We have the funding to build the space and to provide some of the equipment and materials that will be needed, but we will need to do additional fundraising to continue to equip the space. But our plan is to move Jefferson High School to the old CDOT property on 2nd Street and 14th Avenue, and then to move so the construction trades program will move with Jefferson High School to that site. The early childhood program and the teen parent program from Jefferson High School will also move to that site. So we'll have an early childhood pathway, construction trades pathway, And then we will also move the current business pathway from Jefferson High School to that site. And then our plan is to build out a welding pathway. Welding is one of the areas at Ames Community College where we always have a wait list and are not able to get all of our students in. So we'll be working hard to build partnerships to be able to build out that welding pathway. And then the other pathway that we're looking at that site is cosmetology. There currently is no cosmetology programming through Ames Community College, and so we don't have a partner for cosmetology. Our students would have to actually pay tuition at a very high price and go full-time to IBMC to get cosmetology. So we have been doing work surveying in the community and of our students, and all of these areas have risen to the top as areas that our students would like to see offered. So along with cosmetology, you might be wondering what that is. So that's hairstyling, barbering, so barber, and then it also could be nails and esthetician as well, possibly. So those are areas where we'll have to work to build out. I'm always excited to have Julie Hill, our director for our Success Foundation, with us. We're already in conversation with the Success Foundation on how we work together to partner to possibly fundraise for this site, like we have been able to do for our smart labs and the smart lab implementation at our elementary and middle schools. Also, again, Julie Hill, the Success Foundation, I want to remind you guys that Thursday, 9 a.m., Northridge High School, we will be having a significant ceremony for that Succeeds Prize that District 6 was honored with. And you all may remember this is one of the Colorado Succeeds Prizes. They're coveted prizes that are given throughout the Denver metro area typically. It's a very big deal that our school district was chosen to receive this prize. With it comes recognition as well as some funding. Julie Hill did nominate us for that prize as our partner at the Success Foundation, and it's just really an honor for us to be recognized on Thursday. They will also be bringing with them folks from DaVita, which is a kidney dialysis company. So they're very interested in learning more about our health sciences career pathways and other career pathways related to their field of work that we might be interested in, including inventing and the STEM as well. So Northridge, thank you to Northridge High School for being willing to host that for us on Thursday at 9 a.m. We should be done by 11 a.m. at Northridge, Thursday morning. And then finally, I know that President Mathews, you and I think Ms. Pappas is well aware of this because we ran our plan past her last week, but I just want to share kind of the onboarding that we're doing with our new board members. So Mr. Mathews and I met today individually with each new school board member, met with Mr. Bentley, Mr. Norwood, and Mrs. Sullivan, each individually. I'm sure they feel like they're drinking water from a fire hydrant right now, but just to walk them through the plan for tonight and to know what to expect tonight as they come into this first board meeting, and then to talk through some of those first initial expectations that are coming up, including our full-day work session on December 1st in Colorado Springs. So we're excited to welcome our new board members and to bring them up to speed. And just a reminder, this is our only school board meeting in November. We canceled the other one due to the week of Thanksgiving. And then in December, we only have one school board meeting as well. That's the big business meeting, again, because of the winter holiday. That concludes my comments. Mr. Mathews?
Thank you, Dr. Pilch. Our next item is to approve an agenda for tonight. And so we will need a motion to do that.
I move that the Board of Education of Greeley-Evans School District 6 approves the agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you both. Is there any discussion, questions about the agenda? Seeing none, Ms. Lemon, will you give us a roll call vote, please?
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Mash? Aye. Director Mathews?
Aye.
Director Mueller?
Aye.
Director Pappas?
Aye.
Director Solis? Aye. Director Talley?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. Our next item is to approve that consent agenda that I mentioned earlier, and we'll need a motion to do this as well.
I move that the Board of Education of Greeley-Evans School District 6 approves items as presented on the consent agenda and authorizes the officers to sign any and all contracts.
Second.
Thank you both. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, Ms. Lemon.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Mash?
Aye.
Director Mathews?
Aye.
Director Mueller?
Aye.
Director Pappas?
Aye.
Director Solis?
Aye.
Director Talley?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. Next item is Chevron check presentation. And so Dr. Pilch, I will hand this portion of the meeting to you.
Thank you, President Mathews, and I will just enunciate something from my evaluation that I heard from you all tonight, which was how important it is that I continue to build relationships and trust within the community and the business community, and that we build on those relationships for the betterment of our students. And I think this is an amazing example of that, and I'd like to take credit for it, but actually it was Chevron who reached out to us and began a conversation. Carrie Baird, who is the community and social investment advisor, reached out several months ago, and we've had a few Zoom meetings with Carrie. I'll introduce her in just a moment. But Chevron is new to our community, and Carrie reached out really just wanting to get to know us a little bit more and learn about our work here in District 6 and learn about how the Weld County school districts work. And then Julie Hill from the Success Foundation got involved with us also in a conversation with Chevron. And we had another meeting, and we began to talk about our new Toynton Pre-Engineering Academy and the work that will occur at that new K-8 school when we open it here in just under a year from now. And so Chevron has stepped up as a significant partner with us at the Toynton Pre-Engineering Academy. And so they will be a part of advising us in terms of possibly bringing engineers to the table or engineers into the classroom, we hope. But they've made a significant financial contribution at this time that will help us to launch our work in beginning to train staff and do the big work we have to do around really being a pre-engineering academy, because teachers are not trained in K-12 to prepare students for specifically for the engineering careers. And that's what this academy will do. And with us tonight is Justin Ungerhauer, our principal at the Toynton Pre-Engineering Academy. So at this time, Justin, I'd like to invite you up, please. I'd like to invite Julie Hill, the director of the Success Foundation, Delia Hafley, the president of the Success Foundation board, up, please. And then I'm happy to introduce, I mentioned Carrie Baird to you, community and social investment advisor. The folks from Chevron are part of the Rockies business unit, and we have with us the vice president tonight, Hodge Walker. Hodge, I'd like to invite you as well. And then we have with us Trudy Baird, who is the manager of corporate affairs. So I assume all of you have come to us from down south, and I thank you for being here as a part of our board meeting tonight. And Justin and Julie, on behalf of the school district and the Success Foundation, I'd really like you all to accept this check, if you would. And President Mathews, if you would like to join them as part of the picture-taking opportunity, that'd be wonderful. And I just want to say again how when we imagined the Toynton Pre-Engineering Academy, we knew to do this we would have to have significant community partnership. We would have to involve the University of Northern Colorado. We'd have to involve CSU to really make this work and to really do what we promised, which is bring pre-engineering and create more engineers from children who are in underrepresented areas, like children of color and women in engineering fields. And you are one of our first partners to step up to help us to realize this vision and mission that we have for this school and for our district. So thank you so much. With that, I'll let you take the podium. And we'll give you all a chance also if there's something you'd like to share, Hodge or Trudy or Carrie.
Dr. Pilch, you should be in the picture.
Yeah.
All right. So, got a couple different cameras here. Anyway. All right.
So I may have neglected to say what this significant gift is. This gift is a gift of $100,000. Yes.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and on behalf of Chevron and all our folks within the Rockies Business Unit, we're really proud to be here and to partner with the school district and to move this program forward with the Pre-Engineering Academy. Chevron's got a long history of supporting STEM. We really believe in preparing our students and our children and giving them an education to move forward. We believe these types of educations change lives, and it's very important for us. This is not just a monetary gift, as you guys mentioned earlier. This really is a partnership. We plan on working with you, supporting the academy, supporting the faculty, the staff, and of course the students. So very excited to see what comes and very excited to be a part of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next item of business tonight is the Greeley Education Association Starfish Award. So I'd like to invite Miss Andy Lee to come forward to make her presentation. Miss Andy Lee is the president of the GEA, Greeley Educators Association.
Hello, everyone. I'm privileged to be able to represent the Starfish Award to you. And for those of us just joining, it is about the one that always, a little girl who says, hey, this starfish is important, and she throws it back into the sea, and it doesn't matter that people don't believe her. It matters to this one. But it's a cool poem, and it's a great way to honor other people. And I'm really thrilled right now to be able to stand in front of you and introduce you to Vicki and Peppy. They work at Brentwood Middle School in our intensive functional learning program, IFL program. And these ladies are truly the example of what a team does. They're both para-educators, and they are incredible educators in our district. I was privileged enough to go in and spend a couple of hours. One of the para-educators had a hand issue, and so I was actually subbing for her. And I got to see just a fantastic teamwork happening. Each and every one of these students was reaching grade level content. It was done differently. It was differentiated to meet their individual learning styles. I watched a young man who was nonverbal be able to express what he needed in sign language because that was how he was communicating. And I watched these ladies be able to talk back with him because it was important enough to be able to access that education the way that student needed to have it accessed. I watched them do science. I watched them do a little bit of social study, and I watched them do a lot of social and emotional learning because that is a part of our Colorado State standards. It was amazing, and if you haven't yet been able to go into this classroom, it is definitely well worth your time. And I wish I could say it was all just these ladies, but really, Nancy Urban, the entire staff at Brentwood, they all come together in order to make this learning happen for every student at Brentwood. And that's what makes District 6 special. So it's a privilege to be able to spend a couple of hours with you. If you need me for some more time, I would be honored to come back.
If you'll hang on just a second, we may have a few comments or questions for you. And so I think Ms. Pappas does.
No question. I have had the opportunity to be in your classroom. It's been a few years, but I just want to say thank you both so much. You make such a difference in the lives of children and adults. And it's just an honor to have you in our district. And I just thank you so, so much. Congratulations.
Ms. Solis.
Congratulations on this honor. You know, we continue to see the amazing people that are in our district. And unfortunately, we can't be in the classroom with you every day. So we're so grateful that Andy gets a chance to go in the classrooms, visit, and really watch what you do. Education isn't easy, and your job isn't easy. And yet you show up every day and do what you can and do it to the best of your ability and just love kids. We are so grateful to have you in our district. Thank you very much for all that you do.
Our next item is going to be recognition of outgoing board members. But before we have that, I would like to ask everyone to please make sure that you are following our mask policy and make sure that those masks are over your noses so that we can, if you cannot comply, we will have to escort you out of the building. And then next item is our recognition of outgoing board members. And so, Dr. Pilch, I will give you, first shot at recognizing these outgoing board members.
Thank you, President Mathews, and I appreciate the opportunity. And you know, I don't get to pick who my bosses are. My bosses got to pick me. And but what I know is it's like any relationship that I work to care and feed that relationship so that we can do productive work as a school system. And I'm so grateful for those of you who are leaving the board who have served, and those of you who continue to serve, and those of you who have run and are coming on board tonight to serve our school district and our community. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Talley, and just work my way around and just say thank you. You applied when we had an opening, and you weren't selected. And yet you came back and you ran a campaign and you ran for office and took that risk, and you have served, and you have served very, very well. You have been the consistent voice for all children and a consistent voice for students who have needs in special education. You've been a voice for social emotional wellness in our school district, and you will be greatly missed. I mean, as our youngest board member, you often ask questions that the rest of us are not thinking of. And that's been a real asset for us, and you will be missed. And I hope that you'll come alongside us and work with us in the community on one of those strategic plan steering committees, and know that District 6 is better for having had you, even for this one term. So thank you for your service. Ms. Solis, you and Mr. Hafley, and your 5 colleagues at the time, you are the ones who took the risk and made the decision to hire me as your superintendent. And I was not the easy choice. And we know this, we've talked about it. You had an internal candidate who had served well as the interim. You had another candidate who had been a former leader in the district and had been a superintendent for a short period of time and had superintendent experience. And yet you and your colleagues and this community picked me. And for that, throughout my career, whatever amount of that is left, I will always be indebted to both of you for taking that step and having the courage to take a chance on me. I know at the time that you all wondered about that woman who lived in Windsor and worked in Boulder and wondered how she would really fit in here in Greeley. And you got to know me. The community got to know me during that process, and you took the chance to hire me. And because of the work that you and your colleagues at the time did, we've been able to continue the work here in the district, where Ms. Pappas followed very quickly after that as a school board member, and then Mr. Mathews, and then Ms. Mash and Ms. Mueller. And so you leave a legacy. As new board members come on tonight, both of you leave a legacy of the remarkable work you have done over the past 8 years. And those of us who knew District 6 8 years ago, this is not the same district it was 8 years ago. This district serves children and families very differently than we did 8 years ago, and far more for the better. Your dedication to the children and the staff in this community is unmatched. And I thank you so much for your service. I appreciate the hours and hours and hours that all 3 of you have given. This job, especially over the last 2 years, has been a very, very difficult job to be on a board of education, and I thank you. I thank you for all you've done. I thank you for the dedication and the will and the heart. Thank you.
And I'll also just say a few words. I'll do just as Dr. Pilch did, to start on my left and work around. I told you, Mr. Talley, you were, I was your biggest skeptic when you came on this board. You know, not because of anything that you had done, but just because you'd run against my good friend Araceli, and yeah, I would have wanted to be critical and wanted to be skeptical, and you won me over so quickly. It is so clear how much you care about this work, and I think that's all that we can ask from any board member, is that they love and commit to this work and to love these students well. And you certainly have done that, and you are a model of courage, one of the most courageous people I think I've ever known, and a model of compassion. And again, you have wisdom that is far beyond your years, and this board will miss your voice tremendously. Miss Elise, again, when I think of you, just your passion comes out and comes to my mind, just how much it is you care, and how you're unwilling to let anything get in the way of that and those things that you care about. And I said this before too, but I will say it again. This is a more inclusive district because you've been on this board, and you have advocated, and you have argued for, and you have called the rest of us to account for access, and that every kid in this district has the same access to the same opportunities. And again, with you and Mr. Hafley and Roger DeWitt and so many others, you've made a tremendous difference in the way that this board and this school district relates to the rest of the community. And I will greatly admire you, and will miss your voice also. And Mr. Hafley, I'll steal a joke from Kerry Smith, and he says that people ask me all the time who my favorite board member is, and every time I say, John, it's you. But you've been such an incredible mentor to me. People talk a lot about grace. I'm a pastor, I talk a lot about grace. But you embody grace each and every day. The way that you treat people. It's one thing to speak about and to be a positive person. I like to think that I'm a positive person. And many of us think that we're positive people, but to inject the amount of energy and enthusiasm and positivity that you do into every room that you walk into. I can't say anything more than I can only hope to be the board member that you've been. And I said this before too, but I'll say it one more time. We all say that we're District 6, and that is true of each and every one of us in our different roles. There's nobody that can say that with as much credibility and sincerity, I think, as you can. And nobody that I can know or think of has made the difference in this district that you have. And so your voice also and your presence in New York will be missed. So that's all I have to say. And we will give you guys, we'll start this way. Mr. Talley, we'll let you start first. And everybody I'll start with you, and we'll move around just this way. I'm sorry. I know you might want to go last, but I think everybody does.
I think I said a lot already tonight, earlier and in our reception. But I guess I want to end by not saying anything to anyone here, but saying to everything to the students that are probably not watching, but maybe might hear hear about it. I want to encourage them. 2 years ago, when I decided to run for the board, there's this 27-year-old kid. Who is he and why is he trying to run for a school board? And there was a lot of skepticism and a lot of things that were said about my immaturity, my lack of knowledge, and I pushed through and ultimately ended up here in this chair. Although it is short-lived, I can tell you that it has been the greatest honor and privilege and opportunity that I have ever been given on this earth. I cannot be more grateful to have met the wonderful people in our district and in our communities and all our great students. And I know that this last year was tough, and I know that it was hard being a student, and it was hard learning online, and it was hard coming to school and seeing your friends that are partially covered on their face and trying to decipher words through a mask and all of that. I know that is all valid, and you did it, and you persevered, and you are the strongest humans that I know. This I'll be honest, this sucks. It sucks to be leaving like this, and it sucks to be going out in a way that I did not want to go, but that's just life. And I know that we laid a great foundation here in District 6, and the community came together, and we all decided that this is the direction of the board, and I know, or the school district, and I know that this board and the board coming up will do everything in their power to do what's best for our staff, our students, and our communities. And I have no doubt in my mind. Do we all agree? No, we don't, and that's life, and I fully understand that. But I know that being adults, mature adults that we all are, we can put our differences aside and listen to all the voices at the table, because we know that we have the best interests of our students, and it's up to us, all of us sitting up here, to make sure that our students are receiving the best education possible. It's only 2 years that I was here, but it feels like it's been a lifetime, and it feels like it's been, I think I've aged a little bit. I still look young, but I think I've aged at least 4 years in the last 2 years. I am saddened that I won't be at the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs, but that's okay. I'll be sitting at home thinking of you all. So thank you all up here. Thank the community, thank the teachers, the staff, the students, everyone for all their hard work. I may not be on this board, but I'm still District 6. I'm still here forever. And just 2 words I want to leave this district with and the students with is please continue to persevere and please continue to be resilient, because you are the future of our district, you are the future of our society. And I want my kids, as they grow older, to see kindness, to see gratefulness, and to see respect. And I know that this last year, us as a society in the world, we may have been lacking in those areas, but I know that our students coming up will show us again what it's like to be Americans and to be kind and thoughtful and trusting. So please, students, continue fighting the fight, continue going to class, and continue making us proud to be District 6.
Ms. Elise.
So I've grown up in this community. It hasn't always been easy, and I haven't always felt like I fit in. I went to Greeley-West High School, and I didn't play any sports. I didn't join any clubs. I didn't want anyone to notice me. I just wanted to get by because I didn't feel welcomed, and I didn't feel part of the school. And because of all those things that I didn't do in high school, I thought, I just really didn't have a very big impact in high school. No one would have remembered me at Greeley-West. I was really quiet. I know that's hard for some of you to believe. And I wasn't as fierce as I am now. Later on, I ended up joining a women's organization here in our community called Hispanic Women in Weld County. In that organization, I learned about people that looked just like me, that fought in the Spanish colonies that were around our community because Latinos weren't allowed to live in the city limits. All the people that had done agriculture work, all the people that had worked at the meatpacking plants, and all the people that stood up and fought for me to be, as a woman, have the right to vote, as a person of color, be able to go to any school that I wanted to go to, because that hadn't always been the case. And learning that history, what that did was remind me of all the people that worked so hard for me to be where I am. And that torch needed to be passed to somebody else, and I needed to be ready for that torch. So I started volunteering in my community. I started working with Hispanic women of Weld County. I learned skills that I didn't even know that I could have. And I started sticking up for people like me. While I've been on the school board, we've passed an MLO, we've passed a bond, we've had 2-year negotiations, and we've changed who this district is. And I recently had the opportunity to sign the beam for a new school, Greeley West, that I attended. And my message to kids is, you never know when you're going to have an impact. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but have faith that you'll find your place in this world, and it could be just amazing. I never ever saw myself in this position. I never thought I would run for office. And at the time that I decided to run, it was because there were no people of color running. So then I asked myself, if not me, then who? And if not now, then when? There were 4 positions open, 8 people running, and I was number 3 in funding. The biggest donation I got was $200 out of the community, and that was in Aurora because my mom lived there. But because of the community work that I had done, because of the things that I had put in place, people knew who I was, and they knew what I stood for. And I got elected. Even though there was big money that came into our race too, I still got elected. And then I ran again unopposed, which was amazing because then I could work on the MLO. I spent all of my time, instead of working on a campaign, fighting for the MLO. And we passed it. I know sometimes we have disagreements about history, but what history taught me was that I have a responsibility to continue to carry on and open up doors for people that look just like me. They made me proud to come from a list of people who have done amazing things before me. And they make me appreciative because I know that a woman of color hasn't always been considered an elected office. I want to thank everybody in this district. I've learned so much about what teachers and principals and staff do, and I am humbled by the work you do and the lack of recognition you get and the constant pressure from so many different directions, and you continue to show up because you care about our kids. I think if I had things to do all over again, I might go to school and be a teacher because they are just amazing people, and the impact and the numbers of people they affect are huge. I want to thank this community for electing me twice in this position. It's been an honor and a humbling experience. And I just want to thank everyone that has been supportive of this district, came to the table, worked together, and really changed how this district operates. Because it is about our kids. Our kids should come first. And regardless of whether it's your kid, my kid, we should care about all kids. And all means all. And Dr. Pilch, it has been such an honor to work with you and to know that I was part of the original crew that got you here, along with our community. You have been a rock star in bringing people together. And although you were never a superintendent, you've hit it out of the park. And I know that we as a community have got to support you and be here for you, because I know that there's other districts knocking on your door, and we cannot afford to lose you. So we have got to fight to keep you here. And I know you can get paid more in other places, but you stay here because you care. It has truly been remarkable serving with everyone. I I definitely have missed Roger DeWitt. He was one of our originals too. Steve Hall. We've done some amazing work together. And I want to thank you, community. I hope you'll continue coming, speaking, but recognizing that this is a team effort. We have got to work together. We currently have some of the highest COVID numbers, and we're still not there. We need to continue to work and support each other to get our kids through this. We just can't go backwards. Thank you, everybody, for wearing masks today. I appreciate it. I know it's hard. I know we're tired. COVID fatigue is real. But I thank you for all that you've done to continue to push this district forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Elise. Mr. Haefele.
After spending my entire adult life in District 6, it's been with the wink of an eye that the last 8 years have gone by. I'm blessed and humbled to have been able to work with our students, their families, their staff, our communities, administration, and our Board of Education. My goals coming in were to try to change things just a little bit and leave them better than I found them, and leave a positive legacy. Mr. Bennett, Mr. Norwood, Ms. Sullivan, Reverend Mathews, I'd like to congratulate you and thank you very much for running. I know that you will be using Innovation 2030 to guide you in including all students academically as well as socially, emotionally. I know that you will focus on the culture not only in our buildings, but within our community, and make sure that everybody is included. I know you will continue to communicate with all the stakeholders that are of value, who are important allies to our district. Have belief in the system. Don't be satisfied with what has occurred. Continually strive to be better. And of course, thanks to our community. I look around and I've been surrounded by greatness during the course of my 8 years. I have to start with some of the greatness. It's my wife, darling Delia. Without her support during the course of this, and her love, and the idea that hard things sometimes taste badly, she has supported me and loved me. To all my friends. To other Board of Education members, I want to thank Bruce Bedarius, Mary O'Neill, Linnea Heine for being outstanding mentors to me. To Doug Lydiak, Julia Richards, and then especially for Logan Richardson, Steve Hall, Roger DeWitt, and Ms. Solis. We took on the district when it was at its lowest low. And I'm proud, and I consider them brothers and sisters as we battled and scrapped to get us to the place where we are today. As I look at this dais, I see Ms. Mash, a lover of life, an understanding healthcare person who has accepted all types of people and made them feel welcome. You've been a wonderful asset to the board. To Mr. Talley, your focus on the underserved, the emphasis on social emotional, representing Indigenous and African Americans, being somebody who's an officer in our military. I don't think there's a more qualified person, and I will always treasure our work together. Reverend Mathews, due to your unwavering leadership, calmness, understanding of what occurs, always being prepared, and making sure that we're all on the right direction. Thank you. Ms. Pappas, the mill levy override and the bond issue wouldn't have been possible without your leadership. You rallied our community. You got all of our schools behind us. You sold the story, and both of them passed. You will always be remembered for that legacy, plus being an incredible educator who served all students. Ms. Mueller, you bring a source of confident knowledge and information to us. You're a thinker, you're a problem solver, and you're somebody that everybody in the community can look to. Thank you. And to my sister from another mother, I'd like to thank Ms. Solis. Ms. Solis and I came together a long time ago, and things were not very nice. And we learned and we grew together and we understood what is occurring. And if it wasn't for her, some of the hard things in our district wouldn't have happened. She is a lioness with the courage that goes without saying, and she's made it so all means all in District 6. I will forever be grateful to her. To our staff, you're the most transformational figure in all of our students' lives. You're unsung, you're overworked, but trust me, you are loved and important. Administration, you have done an incredible job of leading. You've been visionary, you've been hardworking, you are problem solvers, and each of you deserves unbelievable credits. Some successes, not in any particular order. Our students are always first, and success is expected, and we are never satisfied by what occurs as we constantly strive to become better. Our culture within our buildings has become people-focused as opposed to system-focused. And I'd like to thank everybody in this room for that. You know, the idea of having one-to-one devices. Thank you to the people who voted on behalf of our mill levy override. Our partnerships with organizations, businesses, churches, governmental entities to meet the needs of our 23,000 students. Our outstanding ability to communicate with our citizens has been nothing short of wonderful during the last 8 years. This is one of my favorites, the high school start time changed. Our focus on level-based curricula has helped our outcomes become better. We've increased and we have enhanced our career pathways and concurrent enrollment due to our mill levy override. Our internship program has grown due to the mill levy override. Our graduation rate, due to the leadership of Dr. Pilch, has gone from 75% to 82%. Our dropout rate has gone from 3.3% to 1.8%. Our mill levy override was nothing short of a success after a dismal failure that hurt all of us badly. I look forward to the next one because I know that our students deserve it. Our bond is due to the outstanding leadership that we had from Ms. Pappas and a wide variety of folks, new buildings, replacement buildings, fewer portables, projects in every building, and everything's on time and under budget. A special thanks to Mr. Hanson for his outstanding work. Increasing our counselors, school psychologists, our attendance liaison, our social workers, and North Range as we are concerned about our social emotional considerations for our students. I want to thank GEA for being outstanding partners as we have moved forward. Our ability to negotiate and work together has been nothing short of outstanding with two-year contracts. Innovation 2020 and 2030 will be great guiding lights. The pandemic response has been nothing short of phenomenal. And the most important thing that has happened as long as I've been around District 6 is the hiring of Dr. Pilch. Dr. Pilch is able to create teams that rally around goals for our students, families, and staff. She makes sure that everybody who works together is collaborative and team-focused, and she draws everybody together to cause success. She's a servant leader. It's never about her. It's always about the idea of what can others do to help others, and she stays out of the limelight. Seldom do you find leaders who aren't focused on I, and she never is. And ultimately, her leadership has caused this district to move forward unlike at any point in the history of our district. I've told her before, and I told the board this, my mother would have loved you, Dr. Pilch. And you're the kind of leader that she was. So I will always be appreciative. Again, to Darling Delia, thanks for being my soulmate, my friend, somebody who fishes better than I do. I will always be appreciative. Please know, I am District 6.
We're going to have a short break, for recess for about 5 minutes while we let these 3 board members exit. But there is about 18 years of experience, 18 years of dedication, 18 years of passion and commitment to our students about to walk off this dais. So I'd appreciate it if you would recognize them one more time with me. Thank you. Take 5 minutes and we'll be back to welcome our new board members. Well, welcome back to the Board of Education meeting for Greeley-Evans School District 6. Thank you for joining us again. We have a different group. We have said our goodbyes, and a lot of our morning is done. We are about to celebrate the induction of 3 new board members. And so the first thing that we need to do is to administer the oath of office to these 3 new board members and to myself. And so we have the Honorable Judge, Mr. Mark Gonzalez, here to administer the oath of office to all 4 of us tonight. Ms. Lemon will call us up.
First up is Mr. Michael Mathews.
All right, Michael, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Michael Mathews, do solemnly swear
I, Michael Mathews, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully perform
the
duties of the office of school directors as required by law, and I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
the laws made pursuant thereto.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And Mr. Kyle Bentley.
All right, Mr. Bentley, raise your right hand. I, Kyle Bentley, do solemnly swear
I, Kyle Bentley, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully perform
that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office of school directors
the duties of the office of school director
as required by law,
as required by law,
and I will support the Constitution of the United States
and I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and support the Constitution of the State of Colorado
support the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
Congratulations, sir.
And Mr. Rob Norwood.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Rob Norwood, do solemnly swear
I, Rob Norwood, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully perform
that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office of school director
the duties of office of school director
as required by law,
as required by law,
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
Congratulations, sir.
And Mrs. Taylor Sullivan.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Taylor Sullivan, do solemnly swear
I, Taylor Sullivan, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully perform
that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office of school director
the duties of office and school director
as required by law,
as required by law,
and I will support the Constitution of the United States.
and I will
support the Constitution of the United States,
support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you.
Well, welcome to the Board of Education, lady, gentlemen. congratulations. Though they have not served for 18 years in board service, they are being elected to this office is a great accomplishment in and of itself. So please join me one more time in saying congratulations to All right, our next item of business is election of officers. And so the first office that we will take election nominations for are the office of president, and nominations are now in order for the office of president. Ms. Terry Pappas.
I move that Michael Mathews be declared president of the Board of Education.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Mash. No second, it actually is required though
Okay,
for this.
sorry.
Thank you. Are there, Michael Mathews is nominated. Are there any further nominations for the office of president? All right, seeing none, nominations for the office of president are now closed. The nominees for the office of president are Michael Mathews. We will now hold the election for the office of president by secret ballot. We will vote on the nominee in order in which they were nominated by the secret ballot. Please vote yes or no on the nominee. Ms. Lemon has agreed to serve as our teller, and she will collect the ballots and tally the votes and let us know once someone has a majority of 4 votes. So again, board members are simply voting yes or no.
Here we go.
After the secret ballot, Michael Mathews has won the majority of the vote.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. The results of the secret ballot are that Michael Mathews received a majority of the vote and is elected president. Nominations are now in order for the office of vice president. Ms. Mash.
I move that Terry Pappas be declared Vice President of the Board of Education.
Second.
Okay,
no
thank you. No seconds are required right now, guys. And then, I'm sorry, it was a little confusing there because the nameplates are different, but Mr. Norwood.
I would like to nominate Taylor Sullivan for the office of Vice President.
Ms. Pappas and Ms. Sullivan are nominated for the office of Vice President. Are there any further nominations for the office of Vice President? Seeing none, the nominations for the office of Vice President are now closed. The nominations for the Vice President are Ms. Terry Pappas and Ms. Taylor Sullivan. We will vote on these in the order in which they were nominated. And so, we will be voting on Ms. Pappas first. So, so you will be voting yay or nay on Ms. Pappas.
After secret ballot, Director Pappas has won the majority of the vote for vice president.
The results of the secret ballot. So that Terry Pappas received a majority of the vote and is elected vice president. Our next item of business is our signature plate, and this is an action item that will require a motion.
I move that the Board of Education of Greeley-Evans School District 6 approves the extension of the use of the current signature plate until a new one is available.
Second.
Thank you all. Is there any question or discussion on the motion? Ms. Mash.
Just can you describe the signature plate? Whose signature plate? Yours?
Dr. Pilch, I'll let you.
So this is actually the board president's signature, which is on many things that are signed in the district, including our checks. Actually, I would recommend that we amend the motion to the second motion, which states, I move that the Board of Education of Greeley-Evans School District approves the continued use of the current signature plate. We'll just continue since it was President Mathews who was our previous president, and will continue in the role. So Ms. Pappas, are you inclined to amend your motion?
I am so inclined. I move that the Board of Education of Greeley-Evans School District 6 approves the continued use of the current signature plate.
Second.
Thank you both. Is there any further discussion or question on the motion? Seeing none, Ms. Lemon.
Director Bentley.
Yes.
Director Mash.
Aye.
Director Mathews.
Aye.
Director Mueller.
Aye.
Director Norwood.
Aye.
Director Pappas.
Aye.
Director Sullivan.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. Next item of business is the District Evaluation Council membership. And this is an action item that will need a motion.
I move that the Board of Education of Greeley-Evans School District 6 approves the membership of the District Evaluation Council as presented.
Second.
Thank you both. Before we open this up for questions and discussion from board members, we will, Dr. Pilch, we'll let you make this presentation for us.
Thank you, President Mathews. Mrs. Overton, our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, is making her way to the podium. This is an annual approval required by state law that the Board of Education in every public school district approve the evaluation council for that school district. Mrs. Overton will explain more about the role of the council to you all.
Sure, thank you. Good evening, directors and President Mathews and Dr. Pilch. As Dr. Pilch had discussed, I'm glad to be here tonight to share information about our evaluation council. Each year, our council meets 3 to 4 times to review the certified evaluation process. This year is no exception. The committee has spent time discussing data and measures of student learning. Additionally, they review the evaluation handbook to ensure every process is up to date and understood by teachers and administrators alike. We have changed membership this year a little bit, and you will have this information. You had this information in your board packet posted last week. As per state statute, the council includes 4 association members, 2 community members, and 3 parent members, 3 district administrators, and 3 principals, 1 from each level. Here are the community members that we are proposing for this year. Ron Anderson, community member. Zach Armstrong, Greeley West High School. Christy Brown, Heath Middle School. Andrew Palmer, Student Information Services. John Schultler, community member. Annette Sandoval Klein, she's a teacher at Romero, K-8. Jeffrey Cranston, Greeley West High School principal. Wesley Tuttle, Administration Building and District Leadership Representative. Kelly Kennedy, Special Education Teacher. Myself, in Human Resources. Jenny Jensen, Academic Achievement District Leadership. Andrea Lee, GEA President and Co-Chair. Amy Honstein, Human Resources and Co-Chair. Melissa McLarty, Montford Elementary. Steve Eisenhower, Madison Elementary. Mr. Tuttle this year will serve as his last year before he retires. Wes brings historical perspective to the committee regarding measures. He says that it's a collective effort of how we conduct certified evaluations between teachers, administrators, and community members. Mr. Jeff Cranston enjoys his time on the committee saying that he recognizes the different perspectives of teacher evaluation from adaptive PE to advanced science at the high school level. This evaluation process works to address a variety of perspectives. Our co-chair, Andy Lee, says that the committee has the ability to modify a tool specifically supported to support the educator. Changing the rubric for each staff at various levels tailors the evaluation process to build dialogue and deepening understanding for performance. As per our master contract, the Evaluation Council was established in 1991 to study, provide oversight, evaluate, address concerns, and develop specific recommendations for improving the district evaluation policy and procedure. Our master contract also stipulates the council is co-chaired by the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources or a designee and the President of Greeley Education Association or designee. And with that, I will close and entertain any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Overton. Are there any questions or comments from board members at this time? New board members, there is a button that you punch, and I will try to guess at the right name. Ms. Mueller.
I just wanted to say thank you to the different administrators, teachers, and parents and community members that serve on this committee. It's a lot of work to meet outside regular hours of work, and so we appreciate their efforts to work on this committee.
Thank you. I'll convey that message.
Thank you, Ms. Mueller. Any other questions or comments from board members? Seeing none, I'll echo those sentiments. It takes so many people and doing things that are outside their specific job description. So many parents, so many educators, so many administrators, and every time we approve one of these different councils, we're exceedingly grateful for the extra time for many that they put in, and for the time that parents give. And so please convey our gratitude to this council. Ms.
Certainly.
Overton.
Thank you.
We still need to vote on this, and because this is an action item, Ms. Lemon, will you give us a roll call vote, please?
Director Bentley?
Aye.
Director Mash?
Aye.
Director Mathews?
Aye.
Director Mueller?
Aye.
Director Norwood?
Aye.
Director Pappas?
Aye, sorry.
Director Sullivan?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
You'll have to forgive us as we adjust to the new order of things. We're sort of used to knowing when our name is called. The next item is our public participation regarding non-agenda items. So let me read the section that I normally read. Earlier in the evening, the board dedicated time to hear from the community about topics relating to agenda items. This portion of the agenda provides the community an opportunity to present brief comments or pose questions to the board on other items relating to Greeley-Evans School District 6. Written testimony or speaker handouts must be submitted to the board secretary, not to individual board members. The board typically does not engage in discussion or provide immediate response to the input, but will ask direct district staff to respond as appropriate. The board is committed to providing a safe environment where all members of the school community are treated with dignity and respect, and expects that all speakers to exercise their speech rights responsibly. Speakers will be heard in the order in which they sign up to speak, and comments are limited to 2 minutes. If more than one person wishes to speak on the same topic, please focus comments on providing only new information and not repeating views already expressed by other speakers. Thank you for your participation. And tonight, our first speaker on this section of the meeting is Ms. Sherry Pye, resident of District 6, here to speak on a mistaken post. Ms. Pye, you'll have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. First I want to start by just saying that I do agree 100% earlier on. Dr. Pilch, I want to say to you, of everybody that I need to apologize, you're probably at the top of the list. You had to spend your Friday doing something that took away from your normal duties of this district. And for that, I am sincerely sorry that you had to misuse your time for that. As everybody is aware of what happened over the weekend, Mama Bear Claus came out from me on Thursday. For the past 8 weeks, I have been having to defend a whisper campaign. I have been having to defend stolen signs, marked up signs, defensive moves by people inside the district to try to do everything they can to curtail the election of Ms. Sullivan. Ms. Sullivan has been one of my dearest friends for over a decade. I know her integrity, I know her passion for children, and I know her love for this school district. And so when I saw them immediately come at her just 24 hours after an election, I came back. And what I said, but it was me. It was a mistake. Anybody who has any type of authorization on Facebook pages understands how easy that mistake is to make. And as I said before, my biggest thing is I want to apologize to this district. Most importantly to you, Taylor, because you have entrusted me to do things on your Facebook page that I messed up on. And I'm very sorry for anything that has happened to you in the meantime. To you, Ms. Pilch, Dr. Pilch, because of what I've already previously said. To Rob Norwood and Kyle Bentley for having to have their celebration for this office overshadowed by my mistakes. And to President Mathews and Vice President Pappas for having to take time out of your schedules on Friday as well to try to clean up my mess. I can't necessarily say that I would take back what I said, but it was what I said. And it was in the heat of a moment, it was a passion, and it was a defense. So thank you very much, and congratulations to everybody.
Our next item, or next speaker is Mr. Brian Sullivan, resident of District 6, parent of students enrolled in District 6, husband of board member, Board of Education member-elect, although we can take the elect out of there now, Ms. Taylor Sullivan. So he's here to speak on general comments on the future direction of the Board of Education. Mr. Sullivan, you'll have
2 minutes. I just want to address the board on the recent election we just had. Taylor, Rob, and Kyle all ran a clean campaign and all had to decide to run. All had decided to run because they, like many, were disgusted and tired of the way the school board had been run in recent years. You had a school board that would routinely and deliberately push parents' wishes off the table and not give it a second thought. Mr. Mathews sits in his ivory tower and uses the church as a cover to his hypocrisy. Yes, I'm calling you out, Mr. Mathews. You sit there all smug, hiding behind the power of your love to wield. All the while, you have no mask rules at your church. But you have the audacity to implement masks on our children throughout the district. Natalie Mash is no stranger to being a hypocrite either. She attends Mr. Mathews' church and doesn't wear a mask. My point in bringing these 2 sitting board members' hypocrisy to the forefront is to show that they don't believe in masks for themselves, but only for the people they are supposed to represent. I'd also like to point out that even though Mrs. Solis is on her way out of the board, she has continually in the last week set out to try and destroy Taylor's reputation and tarnish her as a future board member by posting negative comments to an online Facebook page. Do you really condone this behavior from a sitting board member and members? This entire board has acted like tyrants over the last few years, and it took COVID to wake up the American parent to what exactly is going on in this classrooms and the school board. You will never take my kids' education, my rights as a parent away. I hope the 4 leftover board members have really taken a good long look at what happened across America in the last week in all the elections, because if you refuse to work with these 3 new board members, and more importantly, the parents and kids of Greeley, you will be facing the same parents in the voting booth in a couple more years, and they will remember how you treated them.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Our next person to speak is Ms. Sonia Miller, resident of District 6, here to speak on mass discrimination, segregation, and removing 666 from the district logo. Ms. Miller, you will have 2 minutes.
She is joining us via phone, so if you give me just a moment to get her connected, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. And then we are having trouble with the timer,
Yeah.
as you noticed. Okay, we are ready to start public comment. Thank you. Ms. Miller.
Ms. Miller, are you with us?
Oh, I'm sorry, that might be my fault. Hang on just a moment. Okay, Ms. Miller.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, I don't have a timer out here. Can I get a timer out here so I know when my 2 minutes is up? I want to wish everybody coming in a warm welcome, and I want to wish everybody going out a warm farewell. I don't have anything to say to the three members. I will only say to Rhonda Solis that I'm glad we don't have to hear you talking so much anymore. But I will say about Rhonda that she is not a hypocrite, and I never watched her say something and do something else like I've watched all of the other 6 board members do. Can everybody still hear me? I'm not getting any feedback. Where am I on my timer?
You're at minute 21.
All right. Well, I want to say here that there's a lot of hypocrites sitting on this board, and we have to sit and listen to you guys talk for as many, for as long as you want, and we're limited to 2 minutes. I am sitting in the lobby right now because I am not allowed in there for public comment to speak to my elected officials or look them in the eye. I am being discriminated against, and I cannot wear a mask medically, I have to note, and I am locked in the District 6 Administration Building lobby right now. Our first order of business right now is to unmask our kids, and our second order of business is to get the 666 out of our district logo. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Our next speaker is Ms. Jamie Weber, resident of District 6, here to speak on lack of communication and follow through concerning the board with the community. If we can get the feedback. Welcome, Ms. Weber. You'll have 2 minutes.
I'm here to kindly remind the board that they are here because they were elected by their constituents to represent their community. They were not elected by public health entities, pharmaceutical companies, or other bureaucratic agencies. That being said, I have a couple comments this evening. My hope is that with these new board members, we can get back to a respect for parents where our strongly held beliefs will be respected, not demeaned. Our questions will be answered without a wild goose chase and strings of dozens of emails that have nothing to do with our questions or are counterproductive. Parents don't need to disclose their student's name to find out policies at the school because they feel threatened. We won't be called narcissistic and selfish, denied public comment, shut off, shut out, and ignored. That people won't be discriminated against or bullied here or anywhere on school property because of their beliefs, because right now they definitely are. At the beginning of this meeting, we declared liberty and justice for all. I leave you with this. Liberty is the condition of being free from oppressive restriction or control by a government or other power, and the right to engage without control or interference by a government or other power. I ask that this liberty be valued and upheld by this board and superintendent. Thank you for serving our community.
Thank you, Ms. Weber. The next speaker is Ms. Stacy Shanahan, resident of District 6, here to speak on new board member recommendation. Ms. Shanahan.
Thank you.
You will have 2 minutes.
Thank you. So I had hoped that this new board and this new venture would have started with a little more unity, at least some congeniality, and I apologize to those of you who have been on this board, working hard, making great changes and great strides for our community. You have done amazing work, as well as the people who left, including Rhonda Solis. Rhonda has been an amazing, you all said it, an amazing part of this board. But I would give congratulations to the new members. I hope that despite the tone of the audience, that you can strike a more unifying teamwork with the entire board. I do have some concerns. There was printed in the newspaper that there are ideas about leaving emotional social skill buildings out of the schools and in the hands of the parents. I agree parents need to take on that responsibility. But this statement concerns me with how much mental health has affected our schools. You know, the relationships and learning opportunities, we need to focus on mental health, and that includes social and emotional skills for our students. My real main focus for speaking tonight is to ensure that the members of the new school board and the former members who have continued understand that as the current pandemic continues, our children of color still carry greatest vulnerability and risk. I invited every school board candidate to a forum for candidates a few weeks ago in a highly Hispanic area at the Rodarte Center. We had 4 people show up from the school board. Some couldn't make it for one reason or another. One we didn't even hear from, but there were 3 of the new school board members who refused to come, but promised to listen to the children of color, the majority children of color. So if that is said with truth, number 1 is to recognize that there is this issue is step 1. Step 2 is to keep children of color safe while requiring masks and vaccine equity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Soonigan. Our next speaker is Ms. Angelica Weiss, resident of District 6. Here to speak on a general comment. Ms. Weiss, you'll have 2 minutes.
Just real quick, I pulled my kids out of District 6 because they weren't reading and doing their math and the basics, so I think that needs to be focused on instead of all that stuff. That being said, I don't have anything prepared because all I really want to say is what I saw this last week, the end of the week, was really disturbing to the whole community. Over a benign comment made on Facebook that wasn't even made by Taylor, and the way it was brought out of proportion by a sitting member of the board. Yet we have a sitting member of the board who looked us in the eye and to us personally said narcissistic and selfish right here in this room, and nobody said anything or that. We didn't go on a witch hunt. I mean, that's totally inappropriate behavior from a board member, in my opinion, and I think everybody else is here. So I think the board member that went out, that totally went after Taylor, should actually be apologizing to her, in my opinion.
Thank you, Ms. Weiss. Well, we thank you for joining tonight. Thank you for everyone who's made the effort to be here tonight. Those of you who are in person and those of you who are online, those of you who signed up to speak, we certainly appreciate your comments and we appreciate your support. And thank you. This meeting is now adjourned.